Let's leave the past behind. Walk with me down the road. There's sunshine and light. Say you'll go, don't make me wait. There's no need to hesitate.
the night I nearly filled my pockets up with gold. And I wish the same for you. I wish the same for you. And I had you there to hold me. It was good enough for them, 'cause I was lonely. And I was the only one. Yes, I was the only one. It was easy for me. It was even easier for you. But you were all I could see. And I was just something for you to do. I was stuck inside your city. 4 days was all it took, and you were over me. So I'll be leaving. That's all it took, and you were over me. So don't tell me you don't need me. You could kill me dead or murder me entirely. And that would not bother me. Believe me when I say that would not bother me. It was easy for me. It was even easier for you. But you were all I could see. And I was just something for you to do. But you were all I could see. Yeah, I was just something for you to do. Something for you.
She does have. We'd maybe pull her apart in her heart a little bit to compete with the one above her, but two very, very nice heifers to move into the junior division.
Thank you, Greg. So leading off is your junior calf champions, number 2818, RPY Paynes Ashley from Payne Livestock, Lloydminster. Reserve junior calf champion is 2819, JYF Nativity, shown by J. Yorga Farms from Flintoff, Saskatchewan. Thank you, and congratulations to those two.
We'll now have comments from Cord on our second split of intermediate heifer calves.
Again, a really nice class here with a little more differences in types and kinds. I think, again, the heifer that came to the top of the class for us was just the most complete. We really like her length of body, the way she can get out and travel. She's attractive enough through her front end and, you know, pretty enough made. We like her when you get in behind her. She's got enough muscle and mass there. Just a really, really solid female. I think that's going to make a terrific cow. And then coming in the second here, heifer that definitely gets your attention when she's parked there and set up. Really, really cool to look at. You know, you like her depth, you like her muscle, and you really like her hip. I think for us today, she maybe just didn't get out and move quite as free as we were wanting to. But again, a really nice female, like I say, when you get there and analyze her. And then coming in third here, we really like this heifer's depth and shape and muscle. Maybe one that just breaks a little bit there in her top. But again, you know, really powerfully built female that's going to do some good too.
Thank you, Cord. So leading off our class is entry number 2032. Blair's Carlos, 547 J. Sarita, 518N, shown by Blair's Ag Cattle Company and Carlos Oje. Second in class is entry number 2023. Grills Envious Blackbird, 2537N, from Grills Cattle Company. Third in class is entry number 2034. Blair's April, 504N, shown by Blair's Ag Cattle Company. Fourth is entry number 2030. Blair's Savannah, 503N, shown by Blair's Ag Cattle Company. Fifth is entry number 2041. Third Degree Bride, 47N, from Third Degree Angus. Sixth is entry number 2042. Third Degree Emblenite, 51N, from Third Degree Angus. And rounding out the class is entry number 2038. NCC Donna, 99N, from Nolan Cattle Company. We'll now move into our third split of our February heifer calves. These females are born from February the 7th to February the 6th, and we do have one scratch in this class. You can scratch entry number 2024. I'd like to thank one of the major sponsors here, Canadian Western Agribition, Farm Credit Canada. Farm Credit is proud to be 100% invested in Canadian agriculture and food. Learn how we can help your business at FCC.ca. FCC is a proud partner of the Premier Breeder and Premier Exhibitor Awards. And here's Casey with his comments.
I think we've got an easy winner in this class. We just love their overall attractiveness of this female. Really nice head on this female, nice neck, good shouldered, travels well, good hip in this female. Love her tail head set as well. Just a real nice female to win the class. Second place female follows her up the closest, we feel. We'd just like to flatten her out in that tail head a little bit. She's not quite as wide topped when you get in behind her compared 2 to 1, but 2 real good females to lead off this class. Third place is a little plainer type female, but we admire her for her length of body and her overall muscle and soundness. Going to be a real good brood type, just maybe doesn't have that show ability to above her that beat her today. But those are 3 outstanding females that are sound and functional and going to be real good cows.
Thank you, Casey. Leading off our class is judge number 2040, Murray Magnolia, 122N from Murray Ranches, Tilly, Alberta. Second in class is judge number 2043, Third Degree Erica, 42N from Third Degree Angus, Mozart. Third is 2027, Eastendale Forever Lady, 3225 from Eastendale Angus at Wowota. Fourth is 2025, Honeybrook Envious Blackbird, 11N from Honeybrook Farms at Edam. And fifth in class, judge number 2021, Flat Lake Swan, 128N from Flat Lake Livestock at Neilburg. We'll now move into our fourth and final split of our intermediate heifer calves. These females are born from February the 5th to February the 1st of 2025.
Over on the Limousin side, we'll now have our comments from Judge Greg Pugh.
Thanks, Wayne. As we move into this class of heifer calves, an interesting thing to note is, there's a lot of variance inside of this class. And I'm not saying variance is necessarily a negative thing. I think that there's a good representation of different breeders' programs out there, what their breeding ideals are, and, what they're striving to produce. I like a little bit of everything in every one of these heifers. And I mean, in our eyes, I guess we had to set into the first place one to be the most balanced heifer in the class. Really like when you get in behind this heifer, just how full she is through that lower third of her body. Heifer that's got an ample amount of springer rib. Heifer, when you get on that 3/4 profile, I really like how level she is on that top. A heifer that's very long from that hook joint moving forward to that shoulder joint. I really like the way that she ties in the top of that wither going into her neck. Just a heifer that's just lots of meat and potatoes about her. She's got big stifle. She's got lots of muscle. Heifer that we did know when she first entered into the class that was just a little bit slower in her movement, but as she got around the corners and started to free up, she was starting to get really fluid in her movement into extending those joints to hit her stride. Just a nice black heifer to lead the class off with. Heifer in second place, I mean, I do really appreciate the length of spine in this heifer especially. She has a very rounded dimension to her. A heifer that really carries that muscle shape coming from her pin bone on down into her hock. Heifer, when you get on the 3/4 of her, you really do like how much depth of side she has as well, how much springer rib she has. But she just maybe gives up a little bit of fore rib. She maybe just gives up a little bit of smoothness coming up into the wither, rolling back into her heart girth. And I maybe just would like to see this heifer's tailhead just tucked in a little bit more to compete with the heifer above her. But 2 heifers that I think have a whole bunch of power and dimension to lead off this class. Heifer in third place patterns very well with the heifer in fourth place, patterns very well with the heifer in second place. Just the second place heifer just has a little bit more heifer there. When you get up over her top, she's just a touch wider through that base. Heifer, when you get running down that spine, she's just a little bit more smoothly constructed than the heifer, or the second place heifer is to the third place heifer. I do really like when you get on the front side of this third place heifer, just the amount of stretch that she has through that front of her chest. A heifer that's very straight in that front joint that she has as she lays that foot down. But a heifer, as we move farther back into the construction of just the way her hock lays into her pastern joint on her back leg, I just feel like we could maybe straighten that out a little bit, maybe pull that extension forward for just to travel a little bit more fluidly around the ring today. The fourth place heifer, a very good heifer in her own right, a heifer that's probably the most angular in terms of the overall look that she has, the overall presence that she has, but a heifer to us is just giving up a little bit of dimension through that heart. A heifer I'd like to see a little bit more based out in her chest floor. A heifer, if we could just put a little more up over her top and into that hook bone, I think that she'd just have a little more power and dimension to compete with the 3 above her. But 4 very nice heifers, great representations of these guys' breeding programs.
Thank you, Greg. Leading off in first place, intermediate calf champion, receiving the banner from Pinnacle View Farms is lot number 2822, RPY Payne's Gretchen, 63N, owned and shown by Payne Livestock, Lloydminster. In second place and receiving the Quality T Quality Reserve Champion banner is 2820 SGL New Era 35N. In third place at 2821 SGL Nickel 32N. And rounding out the class is 2823 EMF Noel 531N. Those are your intermediate and reserve intermediate calf champions. Following now coming into the ring will be our senior calf champions, ages January 3rd to the 21st. There will be one scratch in this class coming up. You can scratch 2828.
For those of you following along in our Black Angus show, we do have 2 scratches in this class. You can scratch entry number 2049 and 2018. And it looks like we're ready for comments in the Black Angus show.
Well, we maybe took a little more time here in this class, figuring it out. A little, again, different types and kinds and levels of maturity and different amount of condition on some females out here. The heifer we're going to lead the class off, I think, is a powerful female in this class. You get in behind her and you really appreciate how much width and dimension she has. When you analyze her from the side, she's extremely long-bodied. She's nice enough through the head and neck for us today. She still maintains a good level of femininity and attractiveness. For us, maybe getting, if you want to get nitpicky, we maybe think she opens up just ever so slightly off her front end when she's parked there, but a really nice female to come in first in this class. And then kind of our I guess, heifer causing us a little bit of trouble in this class. And this is a heifer that we really like to look at. We think she's very nice. You know, you get in there and analyze her. She's extremely long-bodied, love her depth of body. And when she gets stopped and parked, she really gives you a terrific look of attractiveness and balance. She gets out and moves extremely well. She's the greenest heifer in the class, and I think that's kind of where she landed where she was. If she had a little bit more power, maybe to sneak up there above her, but a heifer that's really nicely built. And then coming into third here, another more power type female that you really appreciate. She's big and she's long and she's really stout. Maybe just gave us a little bit more trouble when she gets out on the move today, but Park, that's a real one that you really like looking at. Congrats to the exhibitors on this class.
Thank you, Cord. And leading off our class is empty number 2035, PF Black Glass RLP 16N from Partial Farms at Rocky View County, Alberta. Second is entry number 2044, New Horizon High Rose 526N from New Horizon Angus at Lipton. Third is entry number 2047, Mainstream Scarlet 8N from Mainstream Genetics. Fourth in class is entry number 2039, HLC Barbara 590N from Hollinger Land and Cattle. Fifth in class is entry number 2036, Honeybrook Primrose 7N from Honeybrook Farms. Sixth is entry number 2028, Fryburn Blackbird 22N from Fryburn Farms at Oxbow. We will now move into our intermediate heifer calf champion. We'll have the heifers returning. I would like to thank our sponsors, Scott and Bonnie Bryce in memory of Bill Bryce, and our reserve, Irving Angus at Lumsden. So returning from split 1, we have entry number 2045, Boss Lake Miss Donna 530N, as well as entry number 2046, Mainstream Southern Belle 11N for Mainstream Genetics. Out of split 2, we have entry number 2032, Blair's Carlos 547J Sarita 518N from Blair's Ag Cattle Company and Carlos Ohe. Second in that class is entry number 2023, Grills Envious Blackbird 2537N from Grills Cattle. And out of split 3, we have entry number 2040, Murray Magnolia 122N from Murray Ranches, as well as entry number 2043, Third Degree Erica 42N from Third Degree Angus. And from our final split, we have entry number 2035, PF Black Glass RLP 16N from Partial Farms, and entry number 2044, New Horizon High Rose 526N from New Horizon Angus.
We'll now have comments on the senior division class from Judge Greg Pugh here on the Limousin side.
Somewhat of a replication in comments from the last division to this division. I mean, I think there's 4 individuals out here that have a lot of good to offer the breed in a lot of different ways. Again, I mean, everybody says it's your opinion that day or the judge's opinion, which I mean, it for sure is, and I think that it's our job, both my job, to be able to explain why we like these cattle the way we do. But that being said, I think there's 4 individuals out here that do have lots of good points, and I do think that these are 4 very, very high caliber females. Again, we went ahead and used the female that we thought was the most balanced in class. There's lots of things about this female in terms of a structural design that we just do really appreciate. You get to the front side of her, she's really wide in that chest floor again. Heifer that really kind of comes up into that muzzle, she's wide through that. She's got a very nice eye set. As you move back from that, as you kind of come back into that wither and into that top line, she's nice and level topped. She's got to complement that with a tail head that sets very nicely into her body. She's very long from hooks to pins. When you get in behind the female, I really like how wide wide she is through that twist base, a female that has an ample amount of depth of rib, and she really does push that forerib very nicely up behind that front shoulder. Just a nice balanced, complete heifer to start the class off with. Heifer used in second place, here's the most angular female in the class. I do appreciate how angular she is through that front third of her body. Just a heifer, I just maybe like just to tighten that wither up a little bit to be comparable to the heifer above her. I do appreciate again the length of spine in this female, the way she carries her muscle from her pin on down into her hock. A heifer that's nicely constructed in terms of the balance of her bone to muscle dimension. Just a heifer that's very nicely constructed to sit in the second place hole. If we could strengthen her up just a little bit through that top line, she can compete even higher with the heifer above her. Heifer used in third place, there's a tremendous amount of power in this female. She's got an ample amount of forerib, she's got an ample amount of top in her. Just a female, when she gets into the standing position, is just maybe gets outside of herself a little bit in that front end. Just a heifer I do really appreciate again just for how wide she is over that top, the way she carries her muscles down, but a heifer I'd just like to see just a little more fluid in her movement as she gets around the ring. Heifer used in fourth place, here's another one that I think has lots to offer the breed in terms of what her dimension and what her body is, but a heifer, when you really get to analyzing her, you'd probably like to pull her apart right at the ground a little bit. A heifer I'd like to see just a little wider through that chest floor. A heifer, when you get in behind her, I'd like to base her out a little bit through that hind wheel. And a heifer, again, as she's making the corners, I'd like to see just a little more positive flex when she gets into her pastern joint as she makes the corner. But again, a heifer that you do appreciate for the angularity, the overall width of base that she has. Four heifers, again, that I think are very complimentary of the breed. The two that we really like came to the top quite easily for us. We'll move into the larger divisions of age.
Thank you, Greg. Leading off in your senior calf champion, 28-27, RPY Payne's Tiana, owned by add on there an additional owner, Payne Livestock and Cornerstone from Lloydminster. And they received the Lazy A banner. In second and reserve senior calf champions, EMF Nevada, owned by Eden Meadows of Xena, Saskatchewan. They received the Payne Livestock banner. In third place is 28-32, DBCC, a New Dawn, Double B Cattle Company, and you can add in Venture Livestock as an additional owner. And rounding out the class, 28-26, RPY Payne's Bell 6N from Payne Livestock and Pinnacle View Cattle.
We'll now have comments from Casey on our intermediate heifer calves.
We've got an outstanding division here. They're all sound and functional. You know, when you get this much mass and body type, spring of rib, depth of body, and yet they're still real sound and get out and move, I think it's a real attribute to all these breeders. The one that wins this division, I think, wins just because she's a little bit more refined, a little nicer headed than the one will be reserve. But the reserve female is the power female in the division. It's tough for us, I guess, but there are some types and kinds here that split them apart, and with that, we'll go pick the champion and the reserve in this division.
And our intermediate heifer calf champion goes to number 2040, Murray Magnolia, 122N for Murray Ranches, Tilly, Alberta. And our reserve out of split 4 goes to number 2035, PF Blacklass, RLP 16N from Partial Farms at Rocky View County, Alberta. And once again, thank you to our sponsors, Scott and Connie Bryce in memory of Bill Bryce, and Irving Angus for sponsoring that division. I will now hand the microphone over to our Canadian director, Darren Ippolito, and he's got a few things to say.
Welcome from the Canadian Angus Association, and I'm honored to be given the task of handing out some awards. Each year, the Saskatchewan Angus Association recognizes a Saskatchewan Commercial Producer of the Year, and for 2025, we are pleased to have the Reimer family of Artisan Angus Farms nominated. Artisan Angus Farms is located 10 miles northeast of White Fox along the forest edge out north of Tobin Lake. In 1985, Curtis Reimer purchased a quarter section of land from his dad, Don. He soon began building a homestead, a farmyard, and a place to raise black Angus cattle. 1986, Artisan Angus Farms was born when Curtis purchased his first group of purebred Black Angus bred heifers. He continued to buy purebred Black Angus heifers while keeping his own replacement heifers to grow the herd. By adding good quality purebred Black Angus bulls and selecting females with strong maternal traits, Artisan Angus has created an elite commercial herd that continues to produce reliable, consistent, and polished animals. Artisan Angus Farms is currently owned and operated by Curtis and Sherry Reimer, their daughter Tristan, her husband Todd Galley, and their daughters, son Cole and his wife Erica, and their sons. Today, the farm is home to 450 Angus cow-calf pairs, which start calving in early May. Calves are fed in a background feed yard on the farm. Steers are sold in mid-February and known to be high sellers at their respective sales. Out of the uniform heifer calf crop, they choose their replacements and sell the remaining heifers at their annual bred heifer sale. This occurs at Northern Livestock Sales in Prince Albert every March. This year marks their 18th annual sale. Artisan Angus Farms is known for bringing high-quality females bred to low birth weight, high-performance, purebred Black Angus bulls. Artisan Angus Farms takes pride in producing an elite commercial straight-bred Angus cow herd that consistently brings animals with longevity, fertility, and performance. In addition to their cattle operation, the family also farms 11,000 acres of cropland. This operation includes Curtis, Cole, Todd, Curtis's dad Don Reimer, and nephew Connor Reimer. Their grain operation is built on regenerative agriculture practices. They continue to see the benefits of integrating their cattle operation with these practices. In doing this, they are committed to farming in ways that preserves the land, ensures future generations can continue the legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, folks, let's put our hands together and congratulate the Artisan Angus Farm for Commercial Producer of the Year.
Okay, I guess we got comments from Judge Amanda on this class here, and this will be our junior champions of the show.
Switching into this pair of heifers here, pair of heifers that pair very closely together for sure, and this definitely comes down a little bit to a matter of preference of what you prefer, because they are very similar in type. Heifers that certainly have some size and some bone to them, and heifers that you do have to appreciate for that, and some heifers that do have some roundness in their muscle and just some overall power that way. I did start out with this heifer in first, just to feel like she's just maybe a little further along at this point in time. I do appreciate her hook to pin structure just a little bit more. And a heifer that I do feel like she just slides into that shoulder to neck junction just a little bit more favorably for me today, but heifers that do pair very closely. Moving into the second place heifer, a heifer that I do appreciate the roundness that she's got, a heifer that I think with a little more time will be very similar, just maybe like to give her just a little bit more depth in her flank to compete with the heifer above her today. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. And receiving the Junior Champion Award from HSF Highland Stock Farms is 2834 from J. Yorga Farms Limited. And Reserve Junior Champion receiving the JYF banner is 2833, also from J. Yorga Farms Limited. That's our Junior Champions of the show, and following it right in now will be our 2-year-old with calf at side.
Angus cattle have a history in Canada that goes back nearly 140 years. But there was a time, especially after the introduction of larger continental cattle, when it was difficult to survive with Angus. A lot of sales discounted Angus with black hides as breeders and commercial customers looked to other breeds. Only the dedicated Angus member enthusiasts remained, and those were appreciated the quality of Angus carcass and strong maternal strengths of the breed. Those dedicated breeders kept the Angus genetic pool strong and maintained the foundation upon which our success today is based. To recognize those to whom we owe a huge debt, in 1998, the Canadian Angus Association created a long-term recognition award program to recognize those individuals and families who have maintained a continuous membership in the association for at least 50 years. The Canadian Angus Long-Term Member Award Program was expanded in 2011 to also recognize families with 75 and 100 years of continuous membership through generations. To date, only 4 have achieved 100 years, 27 have achieved 75 years, including Al Marie Angus, the Haig family, and Van Len Angus, the Lenson family, who are recognized here today. The Lenson family story started in Vanscoy area beginning in 1905 when Henry Hank Lenson homesteaded after moving from the United States. Like most families at that time, they kept a few head of cattle, laying early groundwork for what would eventually become a purebred Angus tradition. In 1946, Hank's son George Lenson purchased a small herd of Angus cattle from the Roy Ballhorn of Woodland Angus in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. With that purchase, Golden Corral Angus was established. The family grain farm farmed until 1960, steadily building their cattle program along the way. In 1960, George's son Keith started his own herd. He married Lorraine in 62, and together they raised a family of 6. Keith and Lorraine worked side by side grain farming and raising cattle until 1990 and continued grain farming until 2020. The third generation began in 87 when Keith's son Brent started his own herd and launched Van Len Angus. Brent continued to grain farm and raise cattle still to this day. He married Georgette in 2011, and she has become an important part of the day-to-day farm work and cattle operation. The Lensons note that none of this would have been possible without the ongoing help and support of family across all generations. As for the future, time will tell, but the foundation built over 75 years speaks for itself. Please join me in congratulating Brent and Georgette Lenson and the entire Lenson family for celebrating 75 years of commitment and contribution to the Angus breed.
I think there's 2 heifers that really come to the top of the class out here. The heifer we're going to go ahead and use to win the class, I think, is the power female in this class. Again, we really like her length of body. You get in behind there, and there's a ton of muscle and a ton of width. She gets out and moves well enough for us here today. She's still attractive enough, too, when you through her head and neck there, and stays feminine enough looking. Just a really, really solid, a big, robust type of female with a lot of eye appeal. And then coming in the second here, maybe more of the show-looking female. She's really up-headed, really attractive, gets out and moves exceptionally well. Maybe just gives up a little bit of length and a little bit of width from behind compared to the heifer that comes ahead of her in this class, but 2 really, really nice females there. And then coming into third, a heifer we just like for her balance. She can get out and move well. She's long-bodied. We'd maybe drop a little bit more belly in there, but I think that heifer just comes to third for her completeness today.
Okay, we're just going to jump in here and get our senior comments from our judges on our senior champion.
This sure is a heck of a nice pair to come into the ring today, and I really do wish there was a few more because I'm sure they could have actually stood quite a lot of competition. I do appreciate both of these animals for the way they're getting around the ring and their ability to trace their trajectory of their front feet with their back feet. They're really staying nicely into their skeleton that way, and I very much appreciate the way these two are both carrying the amount of capacity and power that they've got all the way down to the ground and staying as sound as they are in that. Cattle that are also quite attractive in their design as well, and I do very much appreciate that. And while we don't maybe always gravitate towards cattle that are starting to dry off, and it's maybe a little bit hard to comment on udder quality as a result, it's impressive how much this cow has put into this heifer calf, and you do have to appreciate just the overall power she's got, just the amount of forerib, the amount of overall rib capacity, depth, and that muscle design that she's got, and she's definitely taken after her mom, and it's going to be pretty cool to see what she turns into and grows up to be. So a very nice pair, and I appreciate being able to comment on them.
Okay, thank you very much. Leading off as our champion, senior female of the show here today is Eden Meadows. Banner is RPY Paynes Lila, owned and shown by Eden Meadows, Zener, Saskatchewan, with additional owners of Hard Rock Land and Cattle. That is 2835. They will receive the Eden Meadows Award, and coming up right after this, we'll walk in our grand drive for our females. But before we do that, we got the Agrimission, a Herdsman's Award that we have to present to you here today, and that's going to be presented by Grace Medvid. Performax Nutrition is the winners, and I know that the winners are there, but they're very, very active and busy lining up. Their champions is Eden Meadows Limousin from Zener, Saskatchewan. Somebody from Eden Meadows, if you can come and receive your banner, certainly be appreciated.
Okay, we're just going to run through our placings in our first of 7 splits in our January heifer calves. So first place goes there to number 2059, Pillar Blackbird, 2534N from Pillar Show Cattle and Double KL Farms. Second was entry number 2080, Brooking Royal Lass, 5156 from Brooking Angus Ranch and ZWT Ranches. Third was entry number 2071, CCR Elba 7N from Summit Angus and Cripple Creek Ranches. Fourth was entry number 2074, Northern View Bell 49N from Northern View Angus. Fifth was entry number 2070, Fryburn Elba 9N from Fryburn Farms. Sixth was entry number 2110, DTA Erica 13N from Arnson Angus and Allencroft Angus. Seventh was entry number 2111, DTA Miranda 14N from Arnson Angus and Flat Lake Cattle. And rounding out the class is entry number 2076, NCC Tibby 4N from Nolan Cattle Company. We'll now move into our second split of January heifer calves. These females are born from January the 24th to January the 17th of 2025.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, on our Limousin side, we're ready to walk in our grand champion females division. So leading off is 2818. Their junior heifer calf champion, RPY Paynes Ashley from Payne Livestock. Reserve is 2819 from JYF and JYF Nativity 317N. Our intermediate heifer calf champion, number 2822. RPY Paynes Gretchen, 63N from Payne Livestock Lloydminster, and Reserve 2820 SGL New Era from Shortgrass Limousin, Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Our senior heifer calf champion, RPY Paynes Tiana, 21N from Payne Livestock with additional owner Cornerstone Limousin. And in second place in Reserve senior calf champion, EMF Nevada, coming to us from Eden Meadows Limousin from Zener, Saskatchewan. Our junior champion coming in will be 2834, That's JYF Misty, 614M. And reserve is 2833 JYF Melissa, 638M. And rounding out our champion drive is 2835. This is RPY Paynes Lila, 9L with Caffett Side, EMF, HR, Naomi, 503N, coming to us from Eden Meadows, Limousin, at Zener, Saskatchewan, and Hard Rock Land and Cattle. Ladies and gentlemen, our champion drive on the Limousin side.
I'd like to acknowledge one more of our major sponsors here at Agribition, Norheim Equipment. Norheim Equipment Company is a Saskatchewan-based retailer that supplies equipment for Western Canadian livestock producers. As farmers themselves, they understand the demands of livestock production and care deeply about the future of the industry. From tractors to feeding and fencing, Norheim Equipment Company delivers practical solutions that provides expert support to help producers work smarter, safer, and more profitably.
Over here on the Limousin side, I just want to bring you attention to PJ Butler's 2024 Champion of the World Awards, recognizing excellence in cattle breeding from around the globe. This year, the competition saw over 1,950 entries from 95 countries, representing 16 breeds evaluated by 42 judges worldwide. The Champion of the World competition was founded in 2012 to promote awareness, goodwill, and trade with the global cattle community. And the 2025 Champion of the World competition will take place this coming year from December 1st to the 14th. This week, 20 world-class champions have traveled from across Canada, the world, to be with us at the Canadian Western Agribition, and we are proud to celebrate their achievements here on the stage. The 2024 Limousin winners were Jan Stigling from Botswana, South Africa, and she is the Miss World, and the Champion of the World bull, Salvador Zamora from Mexico. I don't know if those people are here, but if they are, we'd sure like to have them come down, be recognized. Again, Champion of the World for the Limousin of PJ Butler's Champion of the World Awards. If you draw your attention to the far end there, the big screen, you can see that we do have the champions up on the screen there.
Case will now comment on his class of heifer calves.
Just another outstanding set of heifer calves right from top to bottom. Lots of structure, they're all correct to get out and move good. I think the heifer that wins the class wins it just in terms she's a little bit wider base than the two that follow her up. She's real attractive in through that front end. Love her spring of rib. You get in behind her, she's real wide top, smooth shouldered, like the hip structure in the female as well. travels well, just a real outstanding female to win the class. Second place female comes in second over third. I think she's just a little longer spine, a little more extension in through that front end, a little cleaner in the chest floor than the one in third. Maybe not quite as deep a ribbed as the one in three, but a heifer I think that gets out and travels well and maybe places second for those reasons. The third place female, we love her overall depth of body, spring of rib in her. She's maybe not quite as clean in the chest floor as one and two, but a female that's got brood cow all over her with a nice look as well. Those are three outstanding females in this class.
So leading off our second split of January heifer calves, the entry number 2079, Brooking Rose 5144 from Brooking Angus Ranch, Riverfront Angus Ranch at Wilbar Cattle Company. Second in class is entry number 2055, Girls Empress 2532N from Girls Cattle Company. Third is entry number 2056, Elk Ridge Lady 37N from Elk Ridge Farms. Fourth is entry number 2097, Redo SK Rita 21N from Redo Angus Farms. Fifth is entry number 2053, Wilbar Mayflower 109N from Wilbar Cattle Company. Sixth is 2108, Mainstream Marvelous 1H from Mainstream Genetics. Seventh is entry number 2072, Northern View Bell 47N from Northern View Angus. Eighth is 2093, AJA Annie 556N from AJ Angus. And rounding out the class is entry number 2082, Ravenworth Ruby 28N from Ravenworth Cattle. We'll now move into split 3 of our January heifer calves. These females are born from January the 14th to January the 13th of 2025.
Back on the Limousin side, we'll now have comments from Greg Pugh on his champion drive. Or Amanda, I'm not sure. Amanda, I guess.
We really appreciate being asked to come and do this today. It's definitely been an honor, and we're grateful to be able to sort through these females. The limo breed definitely brings a lot to the table, and I guess in my day job I am privileged to get to spend some time with some feedlots, and I think we all know that the ability of limo cattle to feed and to have that muscle shape is unmatched, and we certainly have seen that in some of the limo-influenced sales this fall, that they're very well received by that, and so the relevance to the commercial side is certainly there. And to add to that, I mean, you can never underestimate, I guess, the value of the maternal cow that does bring that forward. And it doesn't really matter what breed you're in, it is always the cow that is the footprint for the entire breed and the entire offspring of that. And so you just can't match that. So we've certainly got a little bit of a variety of females in here, but we've certainly got some females that I feel are very useful and very functional in their own rights. We're always going to gravitate towards females that have some extra usefulness that way, some ability to live a long time and spend lots of time in the pasture and produce cattle for many years, and so that's something that we're going to comment heavily on and pick for that. I'm not going to comment too much specifically in this class or in this champion drive, as I feel like we've been able to do that throughout the classes, but we're going to pick some females that we feel have some structure and some extra function, and also just a little bit of style and attractiveness to really come to the top today. And so with that, I'm going to let Greg go out and select the grand and the reserve champions.
There she is, your grand champion female of the 2025 Agribition 2835, our senior champion, RPY Paynes Lila 9L with EMF HR Naomi 503N at side. They will receive the Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association banner presented by Leon Luke, and our reserve junior reserve grand champion is our junior calf champion, 28-18, shown today by Payne's Livestock of Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. RPY Payne's Ashley. So our grand champion, in addition to the banners from the Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association, they get a $500 certificate from Bovagen, presented today by Cassie Archambault. And Chubb Lundago's here to present the MNP sponsorship, the stall sponsor for the champion females. And the John Deere jacket today presented by Paige Miller, coming to you from John Deere. I think that's the loot that they're going to carry out for the grand champion. Congrats to our champions, Eden Meadows and Payne Livestock and Hard Rock Cattle. Our reserve grand champion banner today is sponsored by Hale Stock Farms.
Our final award for from the Canadian Angus Foundation for lifetime membership is for the Al Marie Angus Farm. The Al Marie Angus story began 10 miles west of Archewell in northeastern Saskatchewan, where Alvin and Marie Haig registered their very first calf in 1945, and fittingly combined their names to create the farm name Al Marie Angus. Their son Ernest and his wife Frances continued to build the operation while raising 5 children on a mixed farm, always with Black Angus cattle at the heart of it. The next generation, Bruce and his wife Barbara, carried that legacy forward with their 3 daughters, all of whom took active roles working with the cattle. Through the 1970s and 80s, when cattle prices were low and Black Angus often sold for less than the larger exotic breeds, the Haig family stood firm in their belief in the breed. Despite pressure to crossbreed, they choose to stay true to Black Angus, a decision that, looking back now, clearly paid off. Their commitment to quality showed in every aspect of their work. Al Marie Angus were entered at the Saskatchewan Livestock Centre and the Northeast Bull Test Station, where they consistently indexed extremely well. The family also enjoyed showing cattle at local fairs, earning many ribbons along the way. Over the decades, the Al Marie Angus earned the trust and loyalty of countless repeat buyers, known for producing cattle with strong genetics, sound quality, and excellent disposition. Just as importantly, they built friendships across the Angus and cattle community, relationships that will last well beyond the herd itself. In February of 2025, after 80 years of dedication and stewardship, the Haig family made the heartfelt decision to sell the last of their cattle, closing one chapter, but leaving behind a legacy that will endure for generations. Please join me and the crowd together as we congratulate Bruce and Barbara Haig and the entire Haig family of Al Marie Angus, celebrating 75 years of commitment, quality, and contribution to the Angus breed.
Cord will now make his comments on Split 3 January heifer calves.
Well, a really competitive class of heifer calves here from top to bottom, just really complete and really fun to analyze for us out here today. I think the heifer that comes to the top of the class is without a doubt the most powerful female in the class. You love her for her Springer rib. She's huge-bodied, she's big-hipped, and she's square. She's maybe fighted the halter a little bit at first here on the move, but one we're comfortable with to win the class, and one we like an awful lot. And then coming in the second here, and we really like this female. I think the longer you study her, the more you find there that's built properly. She gets out and moves extremely well. I love the way her foot and leg is designed. You get in behind her, she's stout enough and she's deep enough bodied. She's the freshest heifer in the class, and I do appreciate that, and one I think will look exceptionally well next year. The heifer coming into third is one we really appreciate from the side. She's really smooth made. I like how square she is through her hip. And again, you're in behind her and she's got enough muscle and mass for us. She's big bodied. I think where we run into a little bit of trouble is she just maybe opens up ever so slightly off her front end when she's on the move. But one from the side you really appreciate. And hats off to the other two exhibitors. Those are two very good females to round out the class.
Thank you, Cord. And leading off our class is entry number 2113, KT Countess 5135 from KT Ranches, Cherryville, BC. Second is entry number 2050, L83 Darla 515N from L83 Ranch, Westrope, North Dakota. Third in class is 2078, Brooking Rose 5077 from Brooking Angus Ranch and Cordell Morrison. Fourth is entry number 2064, BCC Miss Casey 579 from Bradwell Cattle Company, Jarvie, Alberta. And fifth in class is entry number 2094, AJA Annie Sue 527N from AJ Angus, Duck Lake, Saskatchewan. Entries number 277 and 283 were scratches in that class. We'll now be moving into split 4 of our January heifer calves. These heifers were born from January the 12th to January the 11th of 2025. The Canadian Angus Foundation offers self-directed national and international travel bursaries to give young Angus breeders financial travel assistance so they can attend conferences or events in the beef cattle industry. If you are a Canadian Junior Angus or Canadian Angus member and are at least 18 years old, you can apply online for the chance to attend events like the Canadian Angus National Convention, Canadian Beef Industries Conference, Red Angus or American Angus Convention, Beef Leaders Institute, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association Convention, or provincial beef meetings and events. The annual budget for the bursaries is the calendar year with new funding available in January. Awards will be considered on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit the Foundation website for more information and to apply.
Okay, back over on our Limousin side, we're ready to kick off our bull show. We're going to start with our Limflex bulls coming into the ring. We have two Limflex bulls coming in. They're both January calves. If you can update your programs on the second one in, 2837, the additional owners should read Canadian sires and donors is how it should read, please.
John Deere is proud of its heritage in making outstanding farm equipment. John Deere dealers continue to live up to the same values the company was founded on: quality, innovation, integrity, commitment, and humanity. On behalf of Agribition and all the exhibitors, we would like to thank John Deere for their involvement in Agribition. Be sure to drop by the John Deere booth to speak with the John Deere and dealer representatives.
Another sponsor at Agribition is MNP Accounting Agricultural Specialists. They have deep roots in the industry, and they are proud to partner and meet with you at MNP Breed Champion Bars following the shows. Of course, you saw Chubb here. He's one of the main representatives from MNP. We'll now have comments on this division from Amanda on our Limflex champion class.
These sure are a nice pair of bulls, and it definitely comes down to splitting hairs and what your preference is you could really go either way on them. Bulls that are getting around the ring really nicely, they're very fluid in their movement and the way they're stepping off that back hawk, you really have to appreciate that. Bulls that are pretty fresh in their design, and they carry themselves all the way down to the ground very nicely in terms of their structure, and so there's just a lot to like about them, and I think that many people that are watching probably do appreciate these two. I'm going to use the bull in first just as for my preference. I just do appreciate his shoulder design a little bit more. He's a little flatter going into that neck, and I do appreciate his skull design is a little bit more my preference. A bull that's maybe just also got a little extra width over his loin, but certainly is not a knock on the bull that I placed in second, as I do feel that he's very comparable, and like I say, you kind of go either way on that. A bull that is certainly very large ribbed and just big and dimensional with lots of extra muscle shape. So two bulls that pair very closely, and this is the way we've got them today.
Thank you. And leading off as your champion is 2837, B-Bar C.D. Townsend, 25N. He will receive the B-Bar Championship banner. And in second place and reserve, receiving the Gone West banner, is 2838, B-Bar Chairman, 34N. We'll now move into our junior purebred bull calves.
We'll now have comments from Casey on our split 4 January heifer calves.
Another outstanding class of females. I think the one that wins it's a power female in the class. You know, when you can get them that stout, that long-bodied, and that deep, and still get out and move the way she does, that's a hard combination. So I think she wins this class pretty easily. The second place female's a little more refined than the one that beats her, but just gives up a little bit in terms of overall depth and spring of rib. Heifer that's still adequate in all those things, just not quite as stout and as deep as the one that beats her today, but a heifer that moves nice, really like her shoulder and her neck and just how angular she is, going to be a super nice cow. Third place female just gives up a little bit in terms of her look, but you got to admire her for overall length, her width, her mass, her power as well. Just not quite as refined in through that front third as the two that beat her today, but three real good females.
Thank you, Casey. So leading off split 4 is entry number 2112. KT Countess, 5106 from KT Ranches. Second is entry number 2107. SBR Black Cap May, 5002 from Southview Ranch. Third is entry number 2087. Roy Mac Pradesta, 15N from Roy Mac Angus. Fourth is entry number 2109. Mainstream Toonie, 2N from Mainstream Genetics. Fifth is entry 2099. Third Degree Donna, 18N from Third Degree Angus. Sixth in the class is entry 2100. Third Degree Donna, 21N from Third Degree Angus. Seventh in class is entry number 2096. AJ A. Annie, 523N from AJ Angus. Eighth in class is 2095. AJ Zella, 524N from AJ Angus. Ninth in class is 2073. Northern View Lady, 30N from Northern View Angus. And rounding out the class is entry number 2106, Youngdale Pollyanna, 6N from Youngdale Farms, Rob Young. We'll now move into split 5 of our January heifer calves. These heifers were born from January the 10th to January the 8th of 2025. I'd like to make special mention of a heifer in this class, entry number 2089. Murray Brook 2N from Murray Ranches at Tilly, Alberta. This heifer has generously been donated by Murray Ranches to the Canadian Junior Angus Association as their donation heifer for this year. You'll have your opportunity to take this heifer home through the Dutch auction at our sale, All-Star sale, tomorrow evening. Thank you to Murray Ranches.
Okay, Greg is going to give us some comments now on our junior bull calf class.
Rolling in the junior bull calf division, we're going to go ahead and use the bull. It's probably the most powerful constructed individual in the class. But when you get in behind him, I do really appreciate how wide through this bull is through his pin set. Bull, it really has got an awful lot of dimension and muscle that carries down from the top of that pin all the way down to that hock. Bull, as you move forward on him, he's wide over that top. A bull that has an ample amount of depth of rib. Just really like the powerful construction of this bull to kind of sit into this top place hole. Just a nice individual to lead the class off with. Bull used in second place. There's lots of things about this bull in terms of a construction or a structural perspective that I do really appreciate. I like how soft he is in his pass turn when he's on the movement. I like how extended he is as he's getting around the corners out here again for us today. I like the length of spine in the bull, but I just think he gives up the overall mass and dimension to the bull above him to compete any higher today. But a just nicely constructed bull to sit into the second place hole. Great junior division.
Thank you, Greg. Leading off in our junior calf champion is 2840 Plains Negroni 14N from Plains Livestock, Wainwright, Alberta. They received the banner from Highway Limousin. And in second in reserve junior calf champion is JYF Nash from J. Yorga Farms, Flintoff. We'll now go right back in now to our intermediate division coming in next. Comments from Greg on our junior or our intermediate calf champion.
A couple unique individuals coming into this next division. We went ahead and we used the black bull to lead off the class with. There's lots of parts about this bull that I really have to commend the breeders for creating one like this. But when you get in behind him, I mean, he's got an ample amount of width in through that spine. A bull that really carries that muscle structure really well from the top side of his pin bone all the way again down into his hock. A bull that's really constructed nicely in terms of where he's standing. He's very square in his design. A bull, when you get on the 3/4 of him, I do appreciate just how deep he is in that side. A bull with a tremendous amount of middle. He really is nice and sprung as he moves forward into that four-rib bull. It's really just real soft in that belly, real wide in that top. And the other unique thing I really appreciate about this bull is just that look that he has. A bull that's very angular through that front third of his body. A bull that has a very appropriate junction moving off of his wither into his neck. Just a bull that gives us a lot of display of power but doesn't give up any style. Just a really, really nice individual to lead the class off with. Bull in second, there's lots of parts about this bull that we do really appreciate as well. A bull that has an ample amount of chest floor in him, a bull that has an ample amount of heart girth. But just as you move farther back into the bull, we'd maybe just like to pull his flank down a little bit for us today. A bull I'd maybe just like to stouten that muscle down in the lower third of his body and complement into his hock. A bull that really is fluid when he comes off on the move, but a bull I just maybe just like to see just a little more meat and potatoes when you get up over his top compared to the bull above him. Two, again, unique individuals coming out of this class, with the black bull being tremendously constructed today.
Thank you. And leading off is our intermediate bull champion is 2842. RPY Paynes Mechanic 47 NET. And receiving the Houston Land and Cattle banner, receiving the High Cattle Company Reserve Champion banner is 2841 SGL Notorious 58N. We'll now welcome in our first of two splits of senior bull calves.
In our Black Angus show, we'll now have Cord comment on Split 5 January heifer calves.
I think it took us a little bit more time to sort through the top three here in this class. I think there's some differences when you analyze them in their types and kinds. For us, the heifer that wins the class, we feel has the most balance. We think she's the most complete made. She travels exceptionally well. And then you get in behind her, and she's got plenty enough muscle and shape as well. Love her up through her front end and her head and neck. Just a really, really complete, well-balanced female that's hard to put a hole in out here today. And then coming into second, maybe more of our power-based female when you analyze her from her muscle standpoint, and we do like that about her. We like her width. We like how square she stays for having that much extra mass and power. She's long-bodied. We can maybe give her a shot more depth to compete with that one above her, but one that we really like for her future. And then coming into third, a heifer that we really like as well. She's massive bodied. She's long enough in her rib for us. We maybe just would like to see a little bit more width in her hooks and pins when you analyze her compared to the first two. But again, that's a very nice female that in her own right has some really, really nice pieces.
Thank you, Cord. So leading off our class is entry number 2065. Justamere SF 1079 Fay 311N from Justamere Farms Limited, Lee Sholigan, and you can also add John Earn Farms from Ontario as an additional owner. Second in class is entry number 2066, Justamere Forever Lady 312N from Justamere Farms and Gunvix Holding Limited. Third in class was entry number 2058, Triangle K Erica 11N from Triangle K Angus and Semitol, Barhead, Alberta. Fourth in class was entry number 2089, Murray Brook 2N from Murray Ranches. Fifth in class was entry number 2068, Justamere GFA Frontier Gal 314N from Justamere Farms Limited and Milligan Creek Angus. Sixth was entry number 2098, Third Degree Chloe 9N from Third Degree Angus. And seventh in class was entry number 2081, Ravenworth Ruby 19N from Ravenworth Farms at Middle Lake. We'll now move into split 6 of our January heifer calves. These females were born from January the 7th to January the 5th of 2025. Master Peds has been supplying the nutrition that produces showstoppers at beef shows across Canada for the past 96 years. Master Peds is a proud sponsor of Agribition, and would like to congratulate all the competitors for your dedication and commitment to show excellence.
You heard me a little bit ago just say something about Performex. The Herdsman Awards presentation is presented by Performex. Animal Nutrition is proud to present the Herdsman Awards. Performex Nutrition is focused on cow-calf operations across the prairies, so come and visit them at the booth, at the Co-op Agro booth in the John Deere Sales Arena. Comments from Greg on his first split of senior bull calves.
Really nice set of 4 bulls coming to this first class of senior bull calves. We're going to go ahead and use the bull that we feel is probably got the most dimension in the class, a bull that we just really appreciate for how deep-sided he is. But when you get in behind him, he's really wide in that pin set, a bull with an ample amount of breed character in terms of just the way his muscle pattern is designed, the way it carries on down into that hock, the roundness when you get in behind him. You know, you got to really accentuate just how that muscle pops as he gets out on the move. A bull that's very soft in his middle and very soft in his design, an ample amount of heart girth, but a bull we do really appreciate just for how much extension he does have on that stride. Some of these ones that are just a little bit softer made, a little bit deeper in their side, maybe just can't get themselves coordinated enough to get into that extension, but this bull does. There's just lots of really cool parts about that. So when you can have that tremendous amount of shape and muscle and that softness of skeleton in terms of that center portion of his body, but still be able to be fluid in his movement as he gets around the class. Just a really solid red bull to start this class off with. Now, a bull that we roll into second place is probably pattern and body type as much to the first place bull as any bull in the class. class. A bull that, I mean, I can say granted is maybe a full frame size smaller than the bull above him, but a bull, when you start to analyze the pieces that incorporate into what this individual is, again, you can compliment him on just for how deep-sided he is. A bull with an amount of top that is expressive when you get up into that loin. A bull that is real round in his muscle design. You stand right in behind him. He's wide in that twist structure. Just a bull that maybe just gets overpowered, just a touch to the bull above him in terms of that forerib that he has displayed in front of us today, but a real angular, attractive individual to sit in the second place hole. The bull in third, when you get onto the three-quarter profile of this bull, I mean, there's just a whole lot of dimension and a whole lot of power up over his top. A bull that carries that muscle shape down into his rib structure, but a bull that to us is just into a few different pieces at this point of his development. A bull that we really like that center dimension of his body, but a bull that's just in his construction, and when he is on the move, he just gets a little bit straight in that hock joint. A bull that maybe just gets a little bit or a little bit low in that pastern, but a bull, again, you do appreciate for just how explosive he is in that over his top and into that center dimension of his body. And the bull we used in fourth place, I really do appreciate the angularity coupled with the masculinity of this bull. I like how much character he shows in terms of that's a herd bull look that he has about him, but a bull I'd just like to pull apart in terms of what his base structure is. A bull I'd just like to see just a touch wider base for us today. A bull we'd like to see that tail head maybe tucked into his body a little bit more smoothly so that he can round off from his pin set to his hock. But again, four very nice made individuals to come into this class, with the red bull being a tremendously muscled one to lead the class off with.
All right, thank you, Greg. And leading off in first place is 2850 DBCC Nacho Libra 11NET, exhibited by Double B Cattle Company and additional owner Pinnacle View Livestock, Quesnel, BC. In second place is 2845 RPY Paynes Overhaul 42NET, exhibited by Payne Livestock, Lloydminster. In third, DBCC Napoleon, exhibited by Double B Cattle Company and Hillview Farms, Limousin. And in fourth place, rounding out the class, SGL No Limit, number 2843, 16N from Shortgrass, Limousin of Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Coming in next will be our second split of senior bull calves, ranging in age from January 2 to 10. Well, the marshal's saying we only got two, so not sure. So scratching in this class will be 2847 and 2844.
We will now have some comments from Cord in our Angus show.
Well, I think it really stepped up here with this class of heifer calves. Really excellent from top to bottom. Again, and balance and kind of completeness has been our thing all day. We're analyzing these things. The fewest holes or fewest things we can change is a big deal, and I think that's again what complements our class winner. We really like the power and dimension and mass she has, yet she's still so feminine and very attractive and up-headed and refined through her head and neck. You set her in motion. She moves really, really well here today. Just a super, super complete female that I think is just going to get better with age. And then coming into second here, and this one's got a really cool look when she gets parked and she cranks her head up. Super refined, super up-headed, massive inner center body. We maybe just like to see a little bit more width and a little bit more mass when you're in behind her, but one that's really cool to look at. We love how she gets out and moves. Two very, very nice heifers at the top of our class here. And then coming into third, and I think there's the completeness again coming into factor. There's not a whole lot when you analyze this female to really change. She gets out and moves exceptionally well. She's long-bodied, got a big hip and a lot of muscle, just ultra complete, and that's kind of where she ends up where she does here today in third.
Thank you, Cord. So leading off our class is junction number 2101. Resilvia SC Miss Beauty 30N from Resilvia Cattle Company and Sholigan Cattle. Second in class is 2048. KT Countess 5016 from KT Ranches. Third is entry number 2060. Southland Juniper 27N from Southland Cattle, Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. Fourth is entry number 2054. Grills Empress 2531N from Grills Cattle Company and Pillar Show Cattle. Fifth is entry 2114. KT Tibby 5017 from KT Ranches. Sixth is 2075. Noble Elderine 7N from Double RN Ranching, Lloydminster. Seventh is 2057. Triangle K Erica 8N from Triangle K Angus and Semental. Eighth is entry number 2062. Perrot Rose 15N from Perrot Cattle Company. Ninth is entry number 2104. Twin Creek Countess 1N from Twin Creek Stock Farms. And rounding out the class is entry number 2092. Quill Ace Pride 4N from Abigail Tomlin. We'll now move into our seventh and final split in our January heifer calves. These females were born from January the 4th to January the 1st of 2025.
Comments now on the Limousin side on our second split of senior calves is Greg, I think.
Again, two interesting individuals coming into this final class of senior bull calves. We're going to go ahead and use the bull that's probably the most balanced bull in the class in our eyes. A bull that we just really appreciate just for how level he is up through that top. A bull that's really nice in terms of when you get down to him at the ground. A bull when you stand in behind him, he's really wide in his base width. A bull that maybe granted doesn't have the roundness of muscle to the individual below him, but a bull you do appreciate just for the overall mass and power that he has. A bull that when you get up on the front side of him, I really like the head on this bull. I like the way his muzzle's constructed. That complements further down into just the chest floor width that he does have. Really nice made bull in terms of what his angles and his proportionality is. Just a nice balanced individual to lead the class off with. The bull in second place, when the bull is standing here on the side profile, I do really appreciate just how level topped he is and how soft made he is. A bull again that complements the breed very well in terms of the roundness of muscle pattern that he has in that design. A bull again, when you get behind him, he's wide through that pin structure. Just a bull I'd maybe just like to change a few different things structurally. I'd just like to see a little bit more flowing of a union growing up into that wither off of his spine. And a bull I'd just like to see just a little stronger in that pastern joint. A bull that kind of gets underneath himself when he's standing in line here. But again, a really tremendous individual in terms of what his overall muscle shape and power is, but just doesn't get his sound enough for us today to compete with the bull above him in class. Two, again, unique and nice individuals.
Thank you, Greg. Leading off this division in first place, 2846, EMF Nighthawk 509N. And in second place, that's from Eden Meadow Farms at Zener. Second place, 2848, Highs Nashville 508N ET from High Cattle Company, Rocky View County, Alberta. We'll now bring in our first and second from our last two divisions to declare our senior calf and reserve senior bull calf champions. Sponsoring this division, Shortgrass Limousin from Swift Current is our champion division, and reserve champion is Venture Livestock.
The Canadian Angus Foundation is already accepting donations for the 2026 Building the Legacy sale. Donations of herd picks, semen, embryos, artwork, and experiences are always welcome.
Comments from Greg on his division.
As much as the temptation is to get into a long-winded speech, Amanda will be dragging me out of here if that ends up happening. And I've commented on these individuals, and I hope that we've done a job, especially for the crowd. It's been encouraging to see the crowd increase as the days went along, and to have these limousine enthusiasts out here to be able to view this class. I hope that we're descriptive enough in our own right just to be able to explain why these cattle are working for us the way that they are. Now, with that note being said, and again, before I get too long-winded, I just do want to encourage everybody not to just look at the cattle in the ring here. We have had, and I've commented on it fairly heavily, about the uniqueness of lots of these individuals. And why I'm further noting that is that, I know we're all here to market some genetics, and I think that Agribition has a tremendous set of genetics in all breeds, but specifically we can speak to the breed that's standing in front of us today, being able to have the experience to come out here and judge it. I can for sure say that there's bulls back in the barn even that'll do lots of good for lots of programs. I got to say that these limousine breeders, we need to commend them for the quality that they've brought out for us. Yes, it's not the largest breed in the barn in terms of the numbers for the show, but the quality sure is there. So before we get into our older bulls and into our championship drives, I just wanted to make that one mention as we're kind of getting partway through the show. So let's go ahead and put our hands together, not only for these people in the ring, but everybody that's displayed some limousine cattle here for us today. Tremendous set. And with that note, we're just going to go ahead and get Amanda. We're going to pick a couple of ones that would work for us. And like I say, I'll let her go ahead and pick the champion of the division and the reserve, and we'll move into the big guys.
Our senior calf champion is not number 2850, coming from the first split, followed in reserve by 2845, also from the first split. Our champion is 2850, of course, is Double B Cattle Company, Pinnacle View Livestock with DBCC, Nacho Libre 11N ET, and in reserve RPY Payne's Overhaul 42N Payne Livestock. Right after the banner presentations on this, we'll go into our yearling bulls, our junior champion class.
We'll have Casey comment on his final split of January heifer calves.
Another outstanding set. We've got some variants and types here in the top three, but three outstanding females. I think the one that wins it wins it, and just in terms of her overall balance. She gets out and moves the best. When she walks, it's just absolutely perfect. I really love that front end in the heifer. Flat shoulder, and her middle third is just outstanding. You get in behind her, she's deep rib, she's wide top, square hip. Really nice female to win the class. I really like the heifer in second as well. She's up-headed. That front third is just wicked, and again, it just gives up a little bit in terms of overall mass when you get in behind and you study 2-1. She's not quite as wide, not quite the muscle shape, but a heifer that's got a bright future and a real good look to her. Third place female, a heifer that's real deep-bodied, real stout, just maybe not quite as straight in her lines as those two that beat her, but a heifer that travels nice, got a nice front end in that one as well. Just maybe doesn't have quite the sharp look to him as the two that place above her. Honorable mention, that fourth place heifer too. That's a real good female, going to be a real good cow in her own right. That's an outstanding set of heifer calves.
Thank you, Casey. So leading off our class is entry number 2069, Greenwood BFC Beauty 9N from Greenwood Cattle, Blackfoot Cattle Company, and Delta Hippie. Second in class is entry number 2051, Swindon Sandra D 4220 from Swindon Ranch, Alexander, Manitoba. Third in class is 2102, Resilvia SC Miss Eggsy 19N from Resilvia Cattle Company, Sholigan Cattle, Twin Springs, and Double RN. Fourth is 2063, Perot Sarah 1N from Pro Cattle Company. Fifth is 2085, EF Phyllis 2505 from Enright Farms. Sixth is entry number 2086, Roy Mac Atalanta 3N from Roy Mac Angus. Seventh is entry number 2098, 4G Donna 504N from 4G Granite Livestock. Eighth in class is entry number 2091, 4G Donna 502N from 4G Granite Livestock. And rounding out the class is entry number 2052, Shields Bell 1N from Shields Livestock Melville. We will now be moving into our Senior Heifer Calf Champion Division. I'd like to thank our sponsors. Our Senior Heifer Calf Champion is sponsored by AJ Angus at Duck Lake, and our Reserve is sponsored by Dusty Rose Cattle at Arcola. So returning to the ring from Split 1. Returning from Split 1, we have entry number 2059, Pillar Blackbird 2534N from Pillar Show Cattle and Double KL Farms, and entry number 2080, Brooking Royal Lass 5156 from Brooking Angus and ZWT Ranches. Split 2, we have entry number 2079, Brooking Rose 5144 from Brooking Angus Ranch, Riverfront Angus Ranch, and Wilbar Cattle. Second in that class was 2055, Grills Empress 2532N from Grills Cattle Company. Out of Split 3, we have entry number 2113, KT Countess 5135, shown by KT Ranches. Second in class was entry number 2050, L83 Darla 515N from L83 Ranch. Returning from Split 4, we have entry number 2112, KT Countess 5106 from KT Ranches, and entry number 2107, SBR Black Cap May 5002 from Southview Ranch. From Split 5, we have entry number 2065, Justamere SF 1079 Fay 311N from Justamere Farms, Lee Sholigan, and John Aaron Farms. Second in that class was 2066, Justamere Forever Lady 312N from Justamere Farms and Gunvick Holdings. Out of Split 6, we have entry number 2101, Resilvia SC Miss Beauty 30N from Resilvia Cattle Company and Sholigan Cattle, as well as entry number 2048, KT Countess 5016 from KT Ranches. And from our seventh and final split, we have entry number 2069, Greenwood BFC Beauty 9N from Greenwood Cattle, Blackfoot Cattle, and Delta Hippie. And second in that class was entry number 2051, Swindon Sandra D 4220 from Swindon Ranches. Ladies and gentlemen, your Senior Heifer Calf Division.
Thank you, Bob. That strong division over there. While that's being looked at, we're going to have comments now from Amanda on our junior bull calf.
Moving into these bigger boys, it's really nice to be able to see what we've got here, starting out this class with an individual that certainly just catches you with his presence coming into the ring. He's got lots of style and eye appeal, and you got to appreciate that about him. A bull that does a really nice job of picking up that back foot, pivoting off that hawk, and planting it exactly where he should underneath himself, and that's really good to see. Just a bull that just has a lot of proportionality and balance in his design, carries it all the way down to the ground. So probably the most balanced individual in this class for us today. That's why we've got him in the spot that we do. Moving into this second place bull, a bull that certainly has lots of power. He's got lots of muscle shape. He's got lots of roundness in his muscle, pulling that down into his lower third, but just a bull that maybe doesn't quite have the base or quite have that overall balance of the bull above him. A bull that I'd maybe just like to clean up that shoulder design a little bit, and a bull that I'd just like to just pull that flank down a little bit more to keep up with the bull above him, but certainly a well-matched individual. Moving into the third place bull, a bull that I do appreciate, but a bull that I'd maybe just like to clean up some lines, pull him apart, give him a little bit more softness to compete with the two above him, but a nice class of bulls.
Okay, leading off the class in first place, 2853, JYF Mentor from J. Yorga Farms Limited at Flintoff, Saskatchewan. In second place, 2855, Pinnacles Plains Moneyman 433M. And rounding out the class, 2854, you can change your catalogs or your books. This is JYF Grey Wolf 201M, again from J. Yorga Farms. We'll go right next into our 2-year-old bulls that should be standing there ready to go.
It looks like Cord is ready to comment on our senior heifer calf division.
Well, what an exceptional division, Angus heifer calves we have out here. Man, you know, there's a lot of them. I think that a guy would certainly like to take home. I think all these females out here are good structured and have a good look. They have some muscle. They have some mass. I think they're pretty. I think they look like show heifers, and I think the ones we have back out here are going to go make cows as well. With that being said, there's a couple heifers here, or 2 heifers here that we have in mind that we really like. I think the one we're going to use to win the division for us, and it's been our thing all day, is just super complete. When you analyze her, I don't think there's a ton of holes there. We really like her for her length, her depth, her mass, just a really nice female. And then the one we're going to use for reserve, I think, is a real powerful female. She's huge in her center body. She's stout when you get behind her. And just again, hats off to all you exhibitors on bringing out heifer calves of this caliber. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun sorting through these heifer calves. So we'll go get you a champion and then a reserve in this division.
So our senior heifer calf champion is empty number 2069, Greenwood BFC Beauty 9N from Greenwood Cattle, Blackfoot Cattle, and Delta Hippie. And our reserve comes out of split 3. Whoops, wrong page. Too many pages. There we go. Entry number 2113, KT Countess 5135 from KT Ranches, Cherville, BC. So congratulations to our exhibitors, and once again, thank you to our sponsors in our senior division, AJ Angus and Dusty Rose Cattle. We are now moving into our first of two splits in our junior division yearling heifers. So we have two in the first class. They're born September the 27th and September the 1st.
We'll have comments on the Limousin side here on the 2-year-old bull class from Judge Greg Pugh.
Wow, what a couple of cool cats out here moving into the senior division. I mean, these are two really neat bulls. We're going to go ahead and use this red bull to lead the class off with. Here's one that we think has a tremendous amount of balance and completeness about him. A bull that we can comment just how soft-sided he is. A bull we can comment, how big he is up over his top. A bull that's very fluid in his movement as he gets around the ring. Just a tremendous individual to be able to sit in that spot. And then you can couple that with a really unique front end. That bull has an ample amount of chest floor underneath him. A bull, when you get on the 3/4, he's up-headed, he's eye-appealing, he catches your eye, and it doesn't matter where he stands in the ring. That's a really cool bull to sit in that first place hole. Now we get into this second place bull. I don't want to give up anything in terms of what the power and dimension this bull exhibits and displays for the breed. Here's a bull that's, again, really soft in that side. Here's a bull that's got that really nice rounded Limousin structure and tight muscle that he has. And a bull that in his own right, he's just got an awful lot of power as you move forward on him. But as we get to that shoulder, I'd just like to probably take that in just a little bit tighter. A bull I'd like to see just a little bit more angular up through that front third of his body. But again, a very unique individual and a powerful individual to sit in the second place hole. Like both bulls a great deal, just going to use the red bull. Love the style on that bull and love the angularity coupled with his power.
Thank you, Greg. Coming out and leading the class is 2856, AHL GW, Living the Dream. Coming to us from Jackson and Jaden Payne from Lloydminster. After Hours Limousin from Ontario, Ratliff Cattle Company from the States, and Nordell Limousin and Angus as additional owners on that bull. In second place is 2857, High's Legacy ET from High Cattle Company, Rocky View County, Alberta, and Diamond Sea Ranch, also from Alberta. They'll be representing the senior division in our Grand Champion Drive, which we're marshalling out there right now. I think while I got a second, I'm going to thank Carrie Hirschfeld for being our pretty little ribbon girl and banner presenter out there, and also to our ring help, Warren Fuchs has been doing a great job keeping the ring motion, as well as our marshals in the back. Okay, here they come in the ring now. Here's our champion drive coming into the ring. Starting off our junior champion bull calf, 2840, coming in from Plains Limousin, Plains Negroni. Also joined by 2839 JYF Nash. Our intermediate division champion bull calf, RPY Paynes Mechanic 47N. Joined by SGL Notorious 2841 as reserve. In our senior bull calf champion was 2850 DBCC Nacho Libre 11N ET from Double B Cattle Company, Pinnacle View Livestock. And in reserve was 2845 RPY Paynes Overhaul 42N ET from Payne Livestock, as well as, I forgot to mention, we have to add an additional owner on 2842 Clay Hills Livestock from Manitoba on the intermediate bull calf champion. Our junior champion coming in was 2853 JYF Mentor from J. Yorga Farms, as well as reserve Pinnacles Plains Moneyman at 413N from Pinnacle and Plains. And our senior champion, of course, AHL GW, living the dream from the Paynes After Hours, Ratliff, Nordell, Limousin, and representing reserve was 2857 High's Legacy ET from High Cattle Company and Diamond Sea Ranch. Ladies and gentlemen, your grand champion, Bull Drive.
We'll now have comments on our first split of junior yearling heifers.
Two certainly different type females in this class. We went with the one that's just a little bit longer spine, a little bit longer necked, a little more muscle in this female. Just overall more balance or more stoutness and muscle, I think, than the second place female. Second place female certainly more refined in her makeup, just like to extend her in through that neck. And just kind of stretch her out from front to back a little bit to place higher today, but two real good females.
So first in class, engine number 2116, BK Made For It 4038M from Mapleview Livestock, Clyde, Alberta. And second in class, engine number 2121, CD Rose 4807 from Canadian Sires and Donors, Mountain View County, Alberta. We'll now move into split 2 of our junior yearling heifers. These females are born from April the 13th to March the 2nd.
Looks like Greg's on a mission to give us some comments on the champion drive.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks, everyone, for having us out here today. We sure have enjoyed our morning and early afternoon getting to sort through these cattle. I've always been, the excitement for me always comes into when we get into these bull drives. I mean, that's one fortunate thing in Canada that we all are all about is we are all about selling bulls. And making these bulls to be referenceable to the commercial community is something that I think we all have in front of mind. And again, I want to commend all these Limousin breeders for bringing these cattle out in front of us that I do truly believe have a lot of referenceable material in terms of working inside of the commercial sector especially. A group of set of bulls out here that have breed characteristics that the breed is well known for, that roundness of muscle, that ability to feed, that ability to add a little bit more jam to a calf crop. And I think that we need to commend these breeders again just to have these cattle at the position that they are in and to be able to move forward with them the way that they have. The progression of the breed is just a neat thing to see. Again, I mean, I think that the judges has judged through every show this fall have talked about the cow herd rebuild, so I'm not going to touch on that a tremendous amount, but what I am going to say is that we do have to have a reflection at this point in time instead of looking farther and farther down the road, just for the reality of that we need to produce more beef per animal and per acre than what we have in the past. And what I'm saying that is with the reduction of cow herd numbers that we have, that becomes more and more reflective every year. There's less feeder cattle inside the system, but we're not selling less beef inside of the store. So I think that we have to commend ourselves as breeders that we've been able to piece together and be able to make these cattle that they can lower our carbon footprint. They have the ability to be able to add more meat at the table with less animals doing it, so we can produce more meat per acre. And I think that that's a very, very interesting and a great thing. Again, I can really see that reflected in this set of bulls out here. There is 2 individuals in our eyes that come to the top for us today. And Amanda, when I'm done speaking, she's going to go out there and select our champion and our reserve. But again, let's go ahead and put our hands together, not only for the people out in the ring, but the people back in the stalls, as well as Warren has been a great ringman for us today. The ladies have been more than genuine and more than gracious with us up here to make sure we got water and everything's organized. To Brownies and all their photography crew, and again to the announcers up top. What a tremendous show, and this is one that is great to get to do this together with Amanda and I. I mean, we select a lot of cattle at home, just the 2 of us in the corral. And to be able to go ahead and get to do this here in front of a crowd like this and at this caliber of a show is really just something that it's a great feeling to go ahead and get to do that. So with that, I'm not going to get a whole bunch more into it, but let's get those hands put together, and Amanda's going to go select us 2 champions.
There it is. Your grand champion of 2025A Agribition is lot 2856 AHL GW Living the Dream from the Paynes, the After Hours, Ratlifts, and Nordell Limousin and Angus. Followed in reserve by 2850 DBCC Nacho Libre 11N ET from Double B Cattle Company and Pinnacle View Livestock from Quesnel, BC. Joining the champions out here will be the SCA representative representing the champion banner, Christine Strube. Presenting the banner, we got Cassie Archambault from Bovigen with the $500 gift certificate for semen collection. We got Paige Miller from John Deere presenting the jackets, or from the Profile of Champion jackets, and then Chubb Lundago from MNP presenting the sponsorship for the barn bar that they take care of out there. So there's your champion banners, and then the reserve grand champion bull will receive a banner from Eden Meadow Farms of Zener, Saskatchewan. Before we do any pictures on our champions, we will be doing our groups. So if we can have our groups come in and get set up, we'll do our group classes, and then we'll go do our champion divisions. Greg, hold up.
Cord will now make some comments on this split of heifers.
Really nice class, yearling heifers out here. I think for us, the heifer that comes to the top of the class did so pretty easily out here today. Just one you really like to look at. She gets out and moves exceptionally well. She's got an ample amount of bone and foot size for us here today. And then you analyze her parked, and she's really up-headed, really attractive. She's got enough muscle and width and dimension and shape. She is dropping it looks to be like a nice teat placement too for this time in the game. Just a really, really solid, complete made female here to start us off in this class. And then coming into second here, we have a heifer that sure is big-bodied, and she's stout and wide when you're in behind her. And again, nice to look at from the side. Feminine enough up there through her head and neck. Really like the shape and the look of her head. Just maybe gave up a little bit of width and power of the heifer above her. But again, a really nice female here with a lot of body that's going to do some good as well. And then coming into third here, and I think you really, really like analyzing this heifer from the side. She's made super well. She's really complete. There's not, a big hole with this female. She's going to have a nice udder, gets out and moves extremely well. I think she maybe just gave up some muscle to compete any higher here today. Just like to stretch her out when you get in behind her. But again, a really, really solid class of females here.
Thank you, Cord. So leading off our class is entry number 2122, Boss Lake Miss Dixie Erica, 411M from Boss Lake Genetics, and Danielle Young. Second in class is 2123, DMM Leah, 176M from Miller Wilson Angus and Josh Pittman. Third in class is 2117, Merritt Flora, 4112M from Merritt Cattle Company. Fourth is 2115, Brooking Beauty, 4200 from Wilbar Cattle Company and Owen Wilms. Fifth in class is 2119, JT Rosebud, 99M from JT Livestock Limited. Sixth is 2120, Lynshire Rosebud, M414, shown by New Horizon Angus. And seventh is 2118, PF Black Licorice, RLP, 128M from Pyshal Farms. We'll now move into our Junior Yearling Division Championship. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Harvest Angus for the champion, and Ravenworth Cattle for our reserve. So returning out of split one is 2116, BK Made For It, 4038M from Mapleview Livestock, and entry number 2121, CD Rose, 4807 from Canadian Sires and Donors. Then out of split two, entry number 2122, Boss Lake Miss Dixie Erica, 4811M from Boss Lake Genetics and Daniel Young. And second was 2123, DMM Leah, 176M from Miller Wilson Angus and Josh Pittman.
Thanks, Bobby. So rounding out our show on the Limousin side here, we got our breeders herd in there now. That's exhibited by Payne Livestock, Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. In that group, Rocky, if you can just hang close there. In that group also will be your Get a Sire that I know the judge isn't here right now, but there's only one entry, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be the winner, the Get a Sire by Payne Livestock as well. And while we have them in the ring, we also have Kent Robertson here that is going to present the breeder and exhibitor points. And of course, it is Payne Livestock is going to take home both breeder and exhibitor for 2025 Canadian Western Agribition. That will round out the Limousin show here at Agribition this year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending, coming to watch, and the breeders, of course, for bringing out an exceptional set of cattle. Thanks for Bobby for sharing the ring like we do. It's been a great day. Congratulations to the Angus, and we'll let the boys there take charge.
We'll now have Casey comment on his Junior Division yearling heifers.
Yeah, we got 4 real nice females here, all functional, all going to be great cows. We commented on them individually already, so we won't get into details now, but I think they're all going to be great cows. They're all functional, get out and move well. With that, I'll select my champion in my reserve in this division.
And your Junior Division yearling heifer comes out of split 2, entry number 2122. Boss Lake Miss Dixie Erica, 411M from Boss Lake Genetics and Danielle Young. And our reserve comes out of the same division, entry number 2123, DMM Leah 176M from Miller Wilson Angus and Joss Pittman. And once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors for our junior yearling heifer division, Harvest Angus and Ravenworth Cattle. We will now move into our first and only split of intermediate yearling heifers. So first and second in this class will automatically become our intermediate champion yearling heifers. And these females are born from February the 11th to February the 2nd of 2024. I'd like to thank our sponsors for our intermediate yearling heifer division. DeLorean Ranch from Robsford, Saskatchewan is doing our champion, and our reserve intermediate yearling heifer is sponsored by Windy Willow Farms from Hodgeville. Thank you for your sponsorship.